perfect guy to have turn the page. As you know, the NFL season just came to a conclusion. It's now time to focus completely on basketball best we can. And who best to help turn the page than one of our favorites here in the flesh. The man actually has legs because I've only met him in a Zoom square. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Windhorst is here.
Thanks for having me.
Brian, I got to tell you, we've had a lot of NBA figures here, knock on wood, over the 10-plus years, now in our 11th year. These guys are as excited for you as Boban being here, okay? And you know that's the highest praise anybody could give anybody.
I love Boban. He is an absolutely wonderful guy.
So, and thank you for taking the time to come here in Los Angeles, here in person. How you doing?
I'm good. I mean, I don't think that LA is presenting itself in as best as it could right now.
Okay.
It's the weather is not that great.
That's right. We're hanging in there though.
But yes, it's gonna be a weekend. I don't know if it'll be a good weekend, but it'll be a weekend.
All right. So let's talk about some of the news headlines happening right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the, I guess, first half of the season, if you will, even though, the number of games that moment is passed a while ago.
Yeah, the NFL keeps pushing the NBA back. It's going to be in March pretty soon.
March Madness will be in professional basketball as well. So the suspensions for the brawl between the Pistons and the Hornets, you think these are fair? What happened here?
I know. It would be a hotter take if I came in and was like, they got it wrong.
I don't want the hot takes. I want the Windhorst takes.
It was interesting the way it worked out. The guys got, as you entered the fray, the more and more suspension you got.
Yes.
Jalen Duren started it. He got the least suspension.
Right.
Then Diabate, who he's going to lose some money and he's going to miss some games here. But people are going to know who he is now a little bit because he's been having an unbelievable season. His nickname is the Moose. I'm going to take this opportunity to educate people about him. His nickname is the Moose. He didn't really embrace it at first, but now he will give when he gets he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league, and when he gets a putback, he will go with the Moose, And so, it's 4 games. The reality is that all the teams behind him are tanking, so it's not even going to hurt him that bad. He gets a little bit longer All-Star break, and then Miles Bridges, shouldn't go running across the court throwing punches. That's going to get you in trouble.
So if you get more games for the later you join the fray, does that mean Duncan Robinson gets games added to his resume? I mean, rewarded maybe financially? You get money for just saying these knuckleheads and just walking away.
Actually,
from the fight?
LaMelo Ball was on the bench.
Yes.
And he came off the bench. And normally that's an automatic suspension.
Any Knick fan will remind you of that. Yeah.
Yes. Although I will say I was on First Take today and Mad Dog this is what he referred to. He was like, Patrick Ewing in 1990, whatever.
Right, yeah. Man,
he took one step on
one toe, like a toenail.
But that's not true. If you want to say that he shouldn't have been suspended for just walking on the court, that's a reasonable thing. But he did not take one step.
Okay.
He came 30 feet on the
Phoenix.
court.
It was the Suns that have the bigger beef, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, we remember Stoudemire, he pretended he was checking in. He's like, no, I was just running to check in.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I actually, it's Detroit, I think it's going to cost these guys a lot of money. But I think the Pistons I think JB kind of likes it. You know how Joe Mazzulla, I can't remember who was bleeding last year, was Tatum or somebody was bleeding, and they showed Joe Mazzulla and he was licking his lips because Joe Mazzulla likes it when people bleed.
Yeah.
JB Bickerstaff, the Pistons coach, I think he loved it.
Yeah.
I think he loved Isaiah Stewart. I think, he's been ejected 8 times now, so maybe we need to cool a little bit. I think he loved Isaiah Stewart running out there and having his teammates back.
Right.
And if, he could have gotten away with maybe 4 games, it would have been better. But I think he secretly thinks it's going to be a good thing for them.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, too, the fact that you're it doesn't matter because all the teams behind him are tanking anyway.
Yeah.
Knicks did lose to the Pacers, right? Zubac is just sitting there. And Walt Frazier just flat out said it during the MSG broadcast.
I know.
Why isn't Zubac playing? He said, they're tanking.
Yeah. It was kind of viewed as a bright line that he crossed. I'm like, it's not controversial.
Well, first of all, it's Walt Frazier. He can do whatever he wants to do. And he crosses bright lines every day by putting his clothes on. You know
What's his tanking and planking? Like, what would his be? What would his be?
Tanking and clanking, swishing and dishing. My favorite one of all time was when Xavier McDaniel scored, okay? And he goes, excavating. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's digging. Like, he's not digging anything. But
right.
Anyway, I don't mean.
Yeah.
The general sense, though, is it's just like, what can be done about this? Is anything being done about
So
this?
I live in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes, sure.
And I'm not from there. I'm from Cleveland, as you may know. But Warren Buffett is he's a god in Omaha. And his company, they have this saying, Charlie Munger, his right-hand man, came up with it that says, show me the incentive and I'll show you the result. It's a life of things you can learn through life. And so the incentive for the teams is to get the highest pick possible. So I'll just take you back to last year. Last year, the first 3 picks were drawn, and, the Cooper Flag is, he's going to go. And the 4th pick, it's 3 teams. The teams had the 3 worst records: Washington, Utah, Charlotte. They had the highest 3 odds. None of them got the top 3 picks.
Right.
Top 3 picks. So we're down to the 4th draw. I've watched I'm not talking about when they open the envelope. I'm talking about in the room.
Right.
Okay. The owner of the Hornets, the general manager of the Jazz, the general manager of the Wizards, and they're studying their little sheet. And the 3 balls come up. And I think the first 3 balls, all 3 of them were still in it. And it came down to the 4th ball. And you say, well, this is a 4th ball for the 4th pick. We're not talking about getting LeBron James here. But the 4th ball came up, and it was Charlotte, okay? Charlotte gets Con Knippel. Con Knippel is having, I think, the greatest shooting season for a rookie in NBA history. They just had their longest winning streak in 9 years. 20 years. And they may make the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. I've got a friend who's a season ticket holder in Charlotte who went to the game the other night, the brawl game, and he said, this is the best atmosphere game I've been to in 10 years. And I know that it isn't just about Con Knippel, that they also drafted Brandon Miller and they've been developing some other guys. It's not just that simple. The Jazz took Ace Bailey. And maybe in 3 years, Ace Bailey will be an all-star. But Ace Bailey didn't even get invited to the Rising Stars game. And so you say to the Jazz, why are you tanking? Why are you hurting the integrity of the game? Well, last year, the difference between being 4 and 5 might be the difference between this year having your best year in 10 years and going into a tank. And it's not, if they can't work harder, they can't scout harder, they can't do more push-ups, they can't we're going to come and work as a group in August instead of September.
Yeah.
The difference is that is one player. And so, and their pick is top 8 protected from a deal they made like years ago. So their only pathway in Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah, is to get that highest pick. And so that is the incentive. And I am showing you the result.
Yeah, but it's so we're not even a President's Day weekend.
I agree. It
doesn't seem it gets earlier and earlier and earlier that the plug gets pulled. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. And where it's spilled over is it now. For years, people would say, "Oh, they're tanking," but the players who are on the court aren't tanking.
Right.
The tanking was done on the injury list.
Right. Or saying to Zubac, "You're wearing street clothes."
That's
tonight.
The injury list, or whatever they say that he has an injury. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But what's happening with Utah now, the stakes are so high for Utah, and there's so much tanking going on elsewhere. There's so much competition for tanking that they are now actively taking their players off the court. So, Lowry Markkanen.
Sat for the 4th quarter.
Yeah. He had the other day, he had 27 points in 27 minutes. They sat him on the bench, and then their coach, Will Hardy, stuck his hands in his pocket, literally stuck his hands in his pockets and watched as his team gave up a 17-point lead, didn't even call a timeout. That's he knows the assignment. And by the way, before the season started, he was given a very lucrative contract extension. And, when he signed it, he understood this is what I'm being paid to do. I'm being paid to do what the organization wants me to do.
It's the Don Draper line. That's what the money is for. It's the Mad Men line.
But Will is frustrated, but he's doing what he's been assigned to do.
Right.
And so, something interesting happened. Two things I want to say. One, so today is a big tank bowl. Now, we have games on ESPN tonight, which we have Philly
and the Knicks.
And Knicks.
7:30 Eastern. I've got this for you. Spurs and Warriors at 10.
You watch Countdown at 7 Eastern.
That's very good.
And then late game, we've got Victor. You see Victor had 37 points in the first half last night?
Yep.
Victor is the late game in Golden State. However, there's a more not a more interesting, but an interesting tank game tonight, which is Sacramento versus Utah.
Okay.
Two teams that are extremely tanking right now. So yesterday afternoon,
extremely tanking.
The injury list came out, or the injury report came out, and Lauri Markkanen, who I will point out a month ago missed 7 games due to the flu. I hope he's feeling better. I wasn't there. Maybe he was sick for 7 games.
Understood.
He was listed as being out due to rest.
Oh.
For this game.
He needs a little bit more, huh?
Right. So
come on now.
I mean, I don't know how much you want me to go into this because we're talking about the Jazz, but the other day they held their best guard, Keontae George, out of the game and said it was for rest. And then they played another guard, Isaiah Collier, 48 minutes.
Well, the reason why we're talking about it's not just the Jazz, obviously, and we'll talk about some other stuff, is, listen, this is a smart league run by smart people who understand what it is that they're putting on the court and what it is that is happening. Is there anybody in the Board of Governors, anybody that's like, we must do something?
Maybe, because, as I said, the injury report came out and it said Markkanen out due to rest. And then 1 hour later...
He's rested?
He was taken off the injury report. Hey. He's ready to go.
Hey. Did he nap? Can we find out if he took a nap?
We can follow up today. And so that's number one, is what was going on with that. Number two, and I don't have an answer, by the way. I don't know what's going on. Second thing is, it's All-Star weekend. So Adam Silver, Goodell last week had his State of the NFL.
Yes, sir.
So now we have an Adam Silver State of the NBA.
Yes, sir. And
he will be asked. And so we will hear what he has to say.
When is that, today or tomorrow?
No, I think it's
Friday
or Saturday.
Okay.
He will be asked. And so we'll see. Maybe he's going to, put his foot down.
We'll see. Brian Windhorst here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about Harden winding up in Cleveland. Why did that happen? The Clippers turned things around. Why? Who ordered the code red and why did it happen?
Can I just say before we get into this, how fascinating it is that for years, the Clippers have had him for 6th or 7th year. Mm-hmm. And numerous seasons, they were prepared to win and might have even won. Mm-hmm. The 1 year he tore his ACL in the playoffs, he had 2 or 3 of the best playoff games of the decade. Mm-hmm. They came back and won in Dallas. And if they had been healthy, they definitely might have gone to the finals. They might have won the whole thing.
You're talking about Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had multiple seasons. He got derailed with injuries. Include 1 year they made the Western Conference Finals, and he tore his ACL and he couldn't play. They listed him as questionable with the torn ACL, but that's a different story for a different day. This year he's never played better for the Clippers. This is his best season.
They were on fire, and then all of a sudden, I'm looking at my phone and it pops up that James Harden is going to get traded, and I'm like, where the hell did that come from? And why?
So. Last summer, the Clippers entered into a contract with James Harden that was basically a 1-year guarantee for $39 million plus a mutual option for next year.
Yes.
And as the team was playing very well, James was looking ahead. By the way, as soon as they entered into that contract, they were giving themselves some optionality in case James had a bad year to get out. But they painted themselves in a bit of a corner there because they know that James Harden, if he's not happy contractually, will ask to be traded. He has done this 4 times. Okay. So as soon as they signed that contract, they knew that they put themselves in a bit of a box here. So the team's playing very well. James has this contract next year for $42 million. I think he'd like to make sure it's guaranteed because if it's not guaranteed, he'd like to go somewhere where he could get taken care of. And whatever the conversation was, and there's people that are spinning it, but whatever the conversation was, James didn't hear what he wanted to hear. And he asked out. And no one gets traded more effectively than James Harden when he wants to get traded. And it did work out for him that there was a team that could make a deal and do it. He's going to an instantaneous contender who probably will pay him at least next year, maybe even give him 2 years. So, but I think the key is they pulled the plug. And I'm a huge believer. It sounds basic, but I'm a huge believer of actions over words. If you use that in your head, so much of the NBA will explain itself. Mm-hmm. And the actions that the Clippers had said to me that they didn't believe in this team this year. If they had believed in this team, they would not have traded him. They would have guaranteed his contract or whatever. Mm-hmm. They would not have traded Zubac. So their actions, regardless of what they say, their actions to me say they didn't believe in this team and that they weren't going anywhere. And it's just so ironic and kind of melancholy that this is the best Kawhi has ever played for them.
Right.
He's amazing. He had 40 the other night. His last game he had 40, or 2 games ago he had 41. And this is the time when they pull the plug.
But Garland, you got somebody a decade younger, right?
Right.
And with some injury history.
Right.
Is it possible that the Clippers might have improved at the end of the day? That I know trading Zubac is another indication of pulling a plug here. But
yeah, I mean, right now they've got a 38-year-old starting center in Brook Lopez and a 21-year-old backup.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't a team that's trying to win or trying to win at the highest level.
Right.
So, no, I think medium term they may say they would have improved.
Right.
But you don't know whether Harden's going to or whether Kawhi's going to be good. In 3 months, much less 9. So, no, I think their actions to me speak to they didn't believe in this team.
Okay, and the Cavs now are a contender for the conference.
Well, I will say this. Here. So, tanking is a very popular topic right now in the league, and it should be because it needs to be highlighted, because it needs to be addressed.
Yes.
But most of the time we get to the All-Star break, and I would say there are really only 3 or 4 teams that can win the whole thing. And sometimes I'm even throwing the 4th team a bone. Right now, I think there are 5 teams that can win the East. I can make a case for all 5, and I have no idea who's actually going to.
Right.
And I think Oklahoma City will win the West, but it's not, I don't feel super strongly about it. I can make a case for 3 teams in the West. So I can make a case for 8 teams, and we may even have an outlier who might be able to, stretch to like 8.5, 9. And so while this has been a season that has been dominated by injuries, unfortunately, and while we have tanking as a real topic that is coming up now, which is unfortunate, I actually think we have a very, very highly competitive season ahead of us here to finish, a very highly competitive playoffs. And I am extraordinarily excited about the young players in the league. Cooper Flagg is, to me, the
Dynamite.
I think, really, to me, I haven't seen a rookie like this since LeBron. Victor is a outlier because I've never seen anybody like that ever
on planet Earth.
Right. So Wembanyama and Cooper Flagg as sort of the next generation. I love watching Ann Edwards every game, and then you still have the old guys, LeBron, Durant, and Curry still around. I actually think the league, from a star standpoint, is I don't think from a competitive standpoint it's in a good place because there's teams tanking, but I think we're okay with the star players. It's just, there is a bit of a transition period that's going to take place here.
I got to be honest with you, TJ Jefferson does not get starstruck or blown away by people who know who he is. But the fact that when you came out here, Brian, and you said, hi, TJ, like you like took a step back. Right?
I was like, guys, Wendy knows my name. That was great.
I know, right? Now, how did you?
What year? What Super Bowl was it? Last year's Super Bowl?
Yes, in New Orleans. Yes,
O's?
that's what you're referring to. Yeah, O's.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the O's, the Mentalist, O's Perlman.
Yeah.
The clip.
Yeah.
Where he cracks his phone and he immediately.
There it is.
The 2 were inside his
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
That's iconic. He just walks off.
Yeah. He
no
wheel
negotiation, and he knew he was in trouble, right? Because but the first, maybe you saw the first 2 numbers, and you're like, uh-oh.
There he goes.
He just walked off.
Yeah, he wheel routed.
I assume he's got some sort of role on the show. He's doing something, right?
Right. TJ, do you want to respond to that? You have a role in the program.
Yeah, we're on air producers, and we help Rich.
Right. And you're on a remote.
That's right.
And we chime in.
Yeah, where's he going? It's not like he's going to his car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was running away from evil, Wendy, is what I was. There were forces of evil afoot, and I didn't want to have no parts of it. So
but again, one of the things we love having you here as well is, to tell you how much we love having you on and how awesome you are.
I can't do tricks like that. I'm sorry.
No, excuse me. With the famed, fingers in the air, this famed thing,
yeah.
You do tricks. Right there.
Yeah.
That was great, by the way.
And then we're all excited because I don't know if you're aware, in the first segment of the program, we got this screen grab just moments ago.
Oh, look at that.
If your left hand was only a little higher, I think the bar that's holding the microphone is
you have to negotiate. There's a price.
He ain't just going to give it to you now.
You don't just do the finger thing for nothing.
You're going to have to speak to my agent about that.
No, we give you a mug. There's a mug right there. The mug's yours to keep.
All right, well, that's a good opening salvo. Okay. We'll see where we go from here.
Windy fingers cost a
We
premium.
gotta raise it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, close enough though. We got one up here and one down here.
No.
We might have to split screen that later. That's it.
All
Look
right.
at that.
All right.
That's
Who
it.
knew?
Brian, did you say I was iconic? Is that the word?
It was an icon.
No,
I think I said the move was iconic.
the moment.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take that.
The moment.
But you know,
was iconic.
let's keep seeing how you do. I mean, there's more time.
That was a very Steve Harvey-like moment where you realize there's a piece of filet mignon on the table and you're going to just make the most of it.
Yes.
You know, but you were genuinely freaked out. He was freaked out that O's was coming at all.
I did.
Okay.
I wanted to sit out the segment.
And the fact that you were then the focus.
Did you in fact change your code?
witchcraft.
Oh yeah, I had to. The whole world knew it, Brian. Everybody knew it.
That's fantastic.
Well, I don't remember what it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Windhorst is still here on the Rich Eisen Show. Again, tonight on ESPN, it's the final full slate of games tonight. There's 3 on Thursday night before the All-Star break hits. Knicks and Sixers tonight at 7:30, and then the Spurs and Warriors after that. With are you on the show?
Yes, countdown tonight.
Okay, at 4:00 out here.
Yes.
And 7 Eastern time if you're on the East Coast. So, walk me through Giannis's journey from summer to now. I mean, in terms of his demands, what he wants, what he has said.
That's the problem. He really hasn't demanded anything. Here's what I can tell you. Again, let's focus on actions over words.
Yes, sir.
The Bucks were negotiating a trade for Giannis last week. Now, whether or not they ever intended to actually follow through on those negotiations, I don't know. I can't speak with that kind of intelligence, but the Bucks were on the phone taking bids and having a back and forth.
Yes.
So the idea that this was all some sort of hoax, no, the Bucks were absolutely doing it. And, you know, they didn't like the offers that they got. And I think their offers, you know, the NBA trades are so complex. And I don't know where to go, like to lose people, have them glaze over. But long story short, the Bucks can get more from teams in the summer than they can now. The teams in the summer will literally have more to trade. And the only team that wasn't really the case was Golden State. Golden State's offer now is going to be the same as it will be in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, they offered what I thought was the biggest package. Maybe the Bucks didn't feel that way. Maybe other people would say that what the Heat offered was better, but they certainly offered the most unprotected draft picks, which was 4, and they can't offer more in the summer. The Heat, for example, can offer extra picks in the summer than they can now, and it wasn't good enough. And so the question will be, will it be good enough in the summer? And will Giannis force it? Because you know, this is going to be an action over words bonanza here, because they can present him before next season a 4-year contract extension for $270 something million. And you know, he's in his 30s and he's had some injury problems. And I would not blame him for 1 second if he said, I won a championship and I'm going to take that 270 and I'm going to be a Buck for life.
Mm-hmm.
He has not said that. He has said many different things, but he has never said he'll sign the extension. So I'm frankly not going to worry about what he says, what he posts on social media. If he signs the extension, he'll be a Buck. And if he doesn't sign the extension, they'll have to trade him, because otherwise he'll be a free agent after next season. It'll be very elementary. And what'll be interesting now is he's got this injury. He announced when he had the injury, I'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. The Bucks.
Dr. Antetokounmpo has been
well,
paged.
Unfortunately, he knows about these things. He's had this injury 4 times.
Okay.
And the Bucks said, no timeline. So Doc Rivers has come out and said he is going to play when he's ready. But the only pathway forward for the Bucks to improve this team really is to get as high of a draft pick as possible.
Right.
And when Giannis plays, they're 500. And when he doesn't play, they're one of the worst teams in the league. And all the teams around them are tanking. So if Giannis comes back and plays, 18 games and they go 9-9, which this is the way they've played during the season,
right,
their pick will materially get worse. Now they could get lucky, like if they miss the playoffs. Well, I think Dallas was like 10th or 11th last year or whatever they were. The hop up. I mean, they could get lucky and end up with a top pick.
Right.
But their only way that they're really going to make this team materially better is by that draft pick being as high as possible. and bringing him back, it's gonna hurt the pick. So I'm anxious to see how that plays out. But I'm done with the words. I'm only going to pay attention to the actions. And so I will tell you that the actions, I know I'm beating the horse, but the actions of last week were that the Bucks were negotiating a trade. And we'll see what Giannis's actions and the Bucks' actions are with his availability and then the contract.
What you've said multiple times here, actions, not words. That's what you're paying attention to, and that's how the NBA is best explained. Brian Windhorst here on the Rich Eisen Show. What are the actions telling you about LeBron James and the Lakers?
So the Lakers had an opportunity to offer LeBron a contract extension last year, and they did not. And it's the first time in LeBron's 23-year career he's ever been on the final year of a contract. Obviously, he's left in free agency at times when he's opted out of a contract.
Right.
He's never, ever been on the last year of a contract. And I understand why the Lakers did that, because they are now building around Luka Doncic. And they probably could maybe do something better with the $52 million. By the way, when I say do something better with the $52 million, it doesn't mean pay LeBron zero. Like maybe they could pay LeBron $30 million and use that $20 million elsewhere. But for them to be the best team that they can't pay LeBron $50 million next year. They just can't, because they're paying Luka something near that, and they're going to pay Austin Reeves something near that. And you just can't have three perimeter-based players who are ball handlers who are not good defenders making that much of your salary cap.
So LeBron James saying, I will not take less than what I'm currently making, is that an action?
Well, if he does that, it's going to be hard, because I mean, I do think he's still an all-star, but I don't know if he's still a $50 million max player.
But does he still want to be a Los Angeles Lakers?
Right. So there's three things LeBron has to decide. One, are his body and mind in a place where he wants to play next year?
Yes, sir.
Now, the challenge with that's going to be, and I don't know if he knows, but I don't know, the Lakers are going to need to know like in June, because that's when the offseason starts. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's going to have an answer in June. I don't know where he's going to be with that. He may not know for sure until later. But he's going to have to decide that. That's going to be first. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, will he play? How much money is he willing to play for? Is he willing to play for $30 million? Is he willing to play for $15 million? I mean, Dirk Nowitzki twice took really big pay cuts to stay with the Mavericks. Now, it's debatable about whether those actually helped the Mavericks or whether they just saved a bunch of money because they didn't actually get functionally better. But that's neither here nor there. It's not unprecedented for a guy at the end of a 20-year career to take a big pay cut to stay with the team.
And not just in the NBA either. Look at Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old. Does he want to keep playing? Sure, he'll play for the Steelers. And he took way less than what his Hall of Fame resume would demand.
Correct.
Way
so
less.
If LeBron is determined to make the most money, it will probably not be with the Lakers. But pathway 2 is to stay with the Lakers for less money. How much less? A lot of variables we don't know yet. 3, would he go someplace else? If he becomes a free agent, would he go someplace else? Mm-hmm. And would he go someplace to make the most money? Or would he go someplace where he could take less money, but that he would feel comfortable or feel like he could win? It would probably, there's a good chance it would be his last year. He certainly has to go into it with the strong possibility it would be his last year. So he has to go to a place where he could be comfortable playing a year. And I think there's a couple of places where that might make sense. Cleveland is one of them.
Heat? You want to go down the
I'm not sure I put the
here?
Heat on the list.
Okay, where else? Where else?
Golden State, depending on how things go, would be one of them, depending on where their team is.
Would Kerr have to be there?
Maybe. Okay. I don't, but that's a good question.
Sure. Okay.
And there's a place or two that I won't say right now that I'm keeping my eye on.
Is that the finger thing? We doing the finger thing?
I just, frankly, with All-Star Weekend and stuff, I don't need this in my life. Right now. But let's just say, I don't mean the fingers, but like
no. I got it.
Let's put it this way.
I respect.
I have a team or two that I think he could consider going to.
Okay.
And I have researched the concept.
Okay.
And I will continue to keep my eye on the concept.
Keep digging.
And let's just say that, it's not without merit. It's just not something I'm going to say. And I don't mean to be a jerk that way.
No.
But I can't. I'm going to try to lay low this weekend. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be on every show trying to back up what I say.
Okay.
But I'm just saying to you, I think he would have some appetizing options.
Okay.
In a one-off situation, if he was comfortable for playing for a salary that would fit in another team.
And what about the Lakers, in the future? I mean, ESPN.com, the app, I'm sorry, I don't recall off the top of my head who wrote the article about the Buss family, where everything
Baxter Holmes.
Right, where everything was so laid bare, even the Kardashian family saying, wow, that's a lot of business of ours put out there. Actually, that's how crazy that thing was off the charts.
But the Laker thing is, so it's fascinating because it's a family, and great stories in the history of humankind are intertwined with family. But the Lakers' decision, the family decision making was actually very simple. Jeanie Buss is the most powerful of the Buss children.
Clearly.
And her older brothers at one point tried to squeeze her out.
They sure did.
And so there's 6 kids, you need 4 votes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Her sister pretty much voted for her the whole time. She has 2 younger brothers and 2 older brothers. Her 2 older brothers tried to force her out. She partnered with the 2 younger brothers to get the 4 votes to squeeze them out. And then a decade later, when it came time to sell, the older family members had a disadvantage because when they die, they don't get, they each had 11% of the team, which is worth $1 billion, whatever. Each time one of they die, they don't get to take that 11% and pass to their heirs. It goes back into the trust. So the last family member standing gets the whole 66%. So if you're the youngest kids, you're in your 30s or 40s, you're like, we'll see you at your funeral.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they basically don't talk to each other. I
got that. I picked that up from the article, man.
Jeanie then flipped it, and the older siblings, who are much older than the younger ones, are like, yeah, we'd like to have our
do it now.
Our hundreds of millions now.
Right, yeah.
We'll vote with you. And so she just flipped it and she did that. It's just a Game of Thrones. It's not.
By the way, that's what I was literally about to bring up, that famously Kobe told her to be Khaleesi and get on your dragon and Dracarys, this whole situation, which, by the way, she did, and you tip the cap. I brought it up just because the LeBron stuff got put out there, and somebody from that family put it out there to create a problem for her.
Well,
that's the way I read it.
In all honesty, how could you not be impressed with
her acumen? Of course.
Yes.
No, that's
and her friend, she obviously is very much closer to her friends and her coworkers with the Lakers than she is to her family. Yeah. So she took care of them, and she took care of herself. Yeah. And she stayed in the job.
I know.
She stayed in the job. She got hundreds of millions. Got rid of everybody in her family and stayed in the job.
For sure. This isn't about that. The LeBron stuff that was in there.
I know. I'm sorry.
No. But the LeBron, that's the stuff that clearly was, let's try and stick it to, Khaleesi here.
Yeah. I mean, I think here's the thing. When you have LeBron, there's downsides. There's a tax, a LeBron tax that you pay, that he does things that, wear you out. However, the other side of it has so much upside that it's a trade-off that everybody would make. Even today, LeBron's value to the Lakers is immensely more than whatever drag he has on the team. And so that's why the Cavs would crawl over glass to get him back for a third time, because as much scar tissue as there's been with that organization, he's still worth it.
He'd sell it out.
I don't think again, it's fascinating because it's great detail, but it's not out of line with the way humankind operates. So the interesting thing about the Lakers that I think was not portrayed in that story is that what separates the Lakers from the Memphis Grizzlies is their local TV deal. Certainly the New York Giants can operate on a little bit higher level from local revenues, but really the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers operate relatively on a level financial playing field. The money that's coming into them is relatively the same. That's not the case in the NBA. In the NBA, the Lakers make more in a week than the Grizzlies make in a year with their TV deal. And that TV deal is under threat because of local TV, which is another story for another day.
Right.
But if that TV deal gets reduced, and by the way, the Knicks last year took a 40% pay cut, and if the Lakers went down by 40%, that would be financially devastating to the Buss family. So they cashed out. She consolidated power, and she sold to owners who have proven to be championship owners.
Yeah.
So the fans are in great position. And in all honesty, I see Jeanie Buss as a candidate for Executive of the Year. She's not going to be a candidate for Sister of the Year, but she's not doing Sister of the Year. She's doing executive.
Sitting on our iron throne down the street here in El Segundo. In the few minutes we have left, no doubt, Dracarys, the whole thing. In the few minutes we have left here, is Jayson Tatum coming back? Because if he does, the Celtics, who are sitting in second place in the conference, could be the dark horse team.
Chris, how do we judge the NBA?
Talk dirty to me, Windy.
What do we do? How do we judge the NBA? What have we learned today?
Actions,
not words.
Okay,
not words.
Everyone's
so
thinking.
when Jayson Tatum says, "I am not going to come back," or "I'm not," he didn't say that. He said, "I'm not sure I'm coming back," or whatever Joe Mazzulla might say, or whatever his teammates might say, or whatever Brad Stevens might say. Let's put that aside. They're not going to put 1 ounce of pressure on him. Now let's focus on the actions. Okay, the actions are he's been doing 5-on-5 with the coaches, and on Monday they took the entire G League team. Put them on. I don't know if they want a bus or a train.
Great.
Maine to Boston.
Brought them from Portland down to Boston. Visited the Arbach Center so that they could practice with Jayson Tatum. That's an action. That's him taking a step forward in the process. I have no idea where he will be at the end of the season. I have no idea where he will be. He probably doesn't know where he'll be in May. But I will say the actions are him returning towards playing. And the perspective that also is needed is you don't need him to play well in March or April. You need him to be a factor in May. And I think that's on the table. Certainly not a guarantee, but it's on the table.
Would he come off the bench, you think?
Who cares?
Doesn't matter, right? Like at the end of the day,
saying,
if he's in the fourth quarter and it's Jayson Tatum and it's
go time.
It's go time.
The Eastern Conference is a wide open, unpredictable, who knows what'll happen. And that X factor is the biggest X factor in the East, if not the league.
They're 5.5 out. They're 34-19. They got Vucevic. They got him. I mean, it's okay. And then last one for you, since we just went New England, let's go Seattle for the Super Bowl champs. Are they going to get the Sonics back? What do you think?
So what I suspect is later this year, the NBA will announce that they are going to form a committee to study expansion, which is going to be an action.
Okay.
An action.
Yes.
Which is code for we're going to expand. That, but they're not going to say it, but they're going to expand. But there's some arena situations that have to be settled first. So right now there's an arena situation in Portland that is bubbling. There's a couple other arena situations I won't get into, but typically you want to leave even though I don't think the NBA will relocate, you want to make sure all of your arena situations are settled before you then expand.
Sure.
But then I do think that's where we're headed. But again, it'll be a process. You won't see the Sonics back in 2027. It could be a few years, but I think that's where we are headed.
Okay. And in terms of actions, not words, words are me texting you, hey, do you want to come on the show? The action is sending you a car.
Thank you very much.
Here. You know what I mean? Like,
and
that's when you
as
knew,
somebody who's
right?
gone from
You know what I mean?
downtown to the LAX area several thousand times.
Yeah.
Very impressive speed
They said.
and execution to get me here.
Well, the 105 freeway is the speed freeway, by the way, from the movie. So, just look around and see if there's a bus and if Sandra Bullock is driving.
The Imperial Freeway.
Yes, indeed. For those scoring at home.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but that's the difference. Words are like, hey, you want to come on the show? Action is like, I've got you.
Bring them here.
I'm on my own the way back, by the way.
No, you're not.
I got a thumb ride.
There's somebody waiting out there. Somebody's waiting out there. I'm sure they got the water at the proper temperature.
Brian, before you go, we have this thing here where, we give out documents to people if they want to give up their fandom.
I like documents that are like this big, that are green. I'm sorry.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, no, I know.
My question is, after hearing you talk about the Clippers, I'm a Clippers fan. I'm ready to just give up, man. I've been a Clipper fan since 1999, ever since I moved here. And every time we get close to something, we just Clipper it up again. Should I just give up, man?
Yes.
Is it time just to sign
They
the
did
document?
make 2 trades that are forward-looking last week.
Yes, they did.
That they trade. It's not easy to get a multi-time All-Star in his 20s under contract, as they did with Darius Garland. His foot is bothering him right now, and they got 2 potentially very valuable picks that they now could go into the marketplace with for Zubac. I would not have traded Zubac, but they have their future plan. But I would be heartbroken. I'm sorry, TJ. I would be heartbroken if I was a Clipper fan and I saw Kawhi playing this way and knowing that my team is not going anywhere.
All for nothing, right?
I don't have that certificate here somewhere.
I don't know if we actually.
I got the Cowboy one.
Yeah, we got the Cowboy one.
Yeah,
I
got the Dallas Cowboy one.
Yeah, Felly has it somewhere. Yeah.
It's somewhere.
All right, so I should give it up, is what you're saying.
No, but you can make plans for May and June.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Windhorst here on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming here.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Enjoy your All-Star weekend.
I shall do so, sir. I will be here in Los Angeles dodging the raindrops. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.